Hi, I'm Carl Azuz, and I'd like to introduce you to my good friend Friday. She's awesome. Let's get rolling with this February 2nd edition of CNN 10. First, to East Asia. Hong Kong is a special administrative region of China, but it was part of Great Britain between 1842 and 1997. And that's why, during the Second World War in 1941, Japanese troops invaded Hong Kong after their nation had declared war on Britain and the U.S. The U.S. Army Air Corps began bombing the territory a year later. Dozens of air raids struck Hong Kong. And just like we've seen in parts of Germany, unexploded World War II bombs continue to be unearthed in Hong Kong decades later. 2 of them have been found in the past week, and at least one of the bombs was confirmed to be an American design. Just because these devices are 75 years old doesn't mean they're no longer dangerous. Evacuations were made, roads and businesses were closed, and some ferry services had to be stopped while experts worked around the clock to defuse the bombs. Both were the same type, but one of them had a badly damaged fuse, making it more challenging to defuse. Hong Kong's explosive disposal unit finished the job on Wednesday morning. CNN's Ivan Watson was there.
It's not often that you see the bomb squad in downtown Hong Kong, but that's what we're seeing now for the second time in just 5 days, because construction workers digging here in this crowded financial hub have uncovered two unexploded bombs from World War II. Now, the bomb squad who've been at work here have identified them as 1,000-pound general-purpose aircraft bombs left over from World War II, from more than 70 years ago, when this was periodically hit by American warplanes after Japanese forces had captured and occupied this former British colony. So what we're seeing now is these men hard at work in the mud. It's been raining here, trying to get a sense of the potential risk that this unexploded device could have. Now, it's important to note that this is one of the most densely populated cities in the world. A number of businesses in the area have closed. There's been evacuation because there's a swimming pool over here as well. But here you have Hong Kong, the city more than 70 years after World War II, still dealing with the dangerous and unexploded legacy of that terrible conflict. Ivan Watson, CNN, Hong Kong.
Dozens of Russian athletes banned from the Olympic Games have just had those bans overturned after an investigation into alleged doping, illegally taking drugs to perform better in the 2014 Winter Games. The International Olympic Committee had banned 43 Russian athletes from ever competing again. But almost all of them recently appealed to the Court of Arbitration for Sport, an organization based in Switzerland. And it said yesterday that for 28 of these athletes, there was insufficient evidence to show they'd broken the rules. It overturned their bans and reinstated their results from the 2014 Games. For 11 other Russian athletes, the court said there were doping violations, but that their ban would be for the 2018 Winter Games only and not forever, that they'd be able to compete in the future. For those whose bans were overturned completely, this does not necessarily mean they can compete in Pyeongchang, South Korea starting next week. They'll first need to be approved by an International Olympics Committee panel and then invited to join the other Russian athletes who are not allowed to compete under the Russian flag because of the scandal. The Russian government, which has denied that it had a doping program, said it was very happy with the decision. The International Olympic Committee said it could have a serious impact on the future fight against doping and that it might appeal the decision at Switzerland's highest court.
Hello? Hello? 1, 2. 1, 2. Amy. Amy. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Is it a breakthrough? Is it something that I think we didn't know before? Yes, that is the case. does the killer whale, when the killer whale says hello, does she know what she's saying? I doubt it sincerely. Whether they could then use these vocalizations, these sounds that they produce now, whether they could then use them to interact with humans or with other killer whales is an open question. It's a fascinating but an open question.
10-second trivia. What was the original name of the game later known as Super Bowl I, AFL NFL World Championship, NFL Playoff 1, Super Tecmo Bowl, or AFC NFC World Championship? Nintendo, don't get confused here. The 1967 game was called the AFL NFL World Championship. And that makes this year's game Super Bowl 52, or LII in Roman numerals. It's set for Sunday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. It's a rematch for the New England Patriots and the Philadelphia Eagles, who met 13 years ago in Super Bowl 39. New England won that game 24-21, but officials are hoping this year's score is 0, at least as far as waste goes. Zero waste means all trash from the game would be recycled somehow and not burned or buried. More than 66,000 fans will be at US Bank Stadium. Over the course of the day, they'll produce about 40 tons of trash. The National Football League and the stadium are working with other partners with the goal of zero waste. So, food vendors at the game are switching to compostable containers and cups. This can be more expensive for stadiums to use. It might affect prices, but these items decay naturally and could be used to fertilize soil rather than grow landfills. Officials are hopeful that 90% of all trash from the Super Bowl will be either recycled or composted. The other 10% would be incinerated, completely burned up, but in an energy plant that could turn that waste into electricity. Football fans would have to put garbage in the right containers, so extra staff will be needed to help with that. And after the Super Bowl, officials are hoping US Bank Stadium would remain a zero-waste building. Other stadiums have not kept that up after the game. 50,000 homes in the Minneapolis area currently compost. That's a fraction of all the homes there, but it's still a higher number than many other cities have. Downsides include attracting more pests and flies, and critics say it smells bad. In the year 2000, NASA launched a satellite designed to observe the Earth's magnetosphere, an area around the planet controlled by its magnetic field. NASA lost contact with the spacecraft in 2005. Scientists said it went lifeless. They weren't sure why, but they declared it to be lost. But earlier this year, an amateur radio astronomer who lives in Canada heard a signal that seemed to match that of the IMAGE spacecraft. Scott Tilley told NASA they started tracking it, and they eventually confirmed it was from IMAGE. Now they're all hoping scientists can get it running again to learn more about the magnetosphere. All in all, it's pretty magneto. You can see why the astronomer got a charge out of it, why he was drawn to it, how it's a polarizing discovery, how it put a down-to-earth guy into orbit. In the grand sphere of things, it's just not to be taken lightly. I'm Carl Azuz for CNN 10. We hope your weekend is magnificent.